July 30th, 2026 meeting of the Beacon City School District Board of Education. Stand for the pledge and remain standing afterward. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we're going to remain standing for a moment of silence for Jerry Landisi, who served as a security guard in the district for many years and recently passed away. Okay. Anne Marie, are you calling the roll? Okay.
Ms. Buscemi?
Here.
Ms. Urson?
Here.
Ms. Ewer?
Here.
Mr. Shatter?
Excused.
Ms. Secor?
Excused.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
Mr. Lewine?
Excused.
Ms. Stumpf?
Here. Matt, can you review the fire exits?
Exits are in the back of the LGI.
Okay, open to the public. There's no public here, so we will start with the workshops. We're going to start with a special education presentation from Dr. Heather Chadwell-Dennis.
Good evening. I'm here to present the special education plan as part of the requirements by the New York State Education Department. I will make it as brief as possible, but at any time feel free to ask any questions at all. So currently the special education department is serving about 618 students, and that's in ages from 3 to 21 for both preschool and the Committee on Special Education. Those students have individualized education programs, which are reviewed at least annually to ensure that their supports are appropriate. Of course, we always are testing the least restrictive environment, which prioritizes the access to learning, inclusion, and supports within the general education setting. Our shared vision is that students with disabilities are valued here in the Beacon City School District community. We are committed to providing excellence in education, equitable opportunities, and individualized supports so all students can achieve success. So here is a demonstration of the continuum of services that we offer in district. And while we offer this in Beacon, this is also by law. So we're complying with all of the laws of the New York State Education Department and the federal government. So three different, I'm going to say, buckets of service. One is school-based support services. These are your related services where you might have speech and occupational therapy, physical therapy, counseling. If we have hearing or vision, we enter into cooperative agreements with Dutchess County so that other school districts are also accessing those providers. Exciting this year is we have our own physical therapists. We have 2 this year. It's been about 4 or 5 years searching for 2 physical therapists, and we're very excited, both doctorates in physical therapy. Specialized instruction is also provided if needed. Consultant teacher services, which I will go through these in detail a little bit later. Resource room, integrated co-teaching and special classes. And then we have children that are in more selective locations where they're in out-of-district placements, where you'll hear like Anderson Center for Autism, Center for Discovery, Spectrum Services. We do have children that are homebound because of illness or other reasons, students who are hospitalized who have been in an accident or have an acquired illness. We provide supports and services in the hospital as well, and then we have children that live at their programs. So a quick review of the Board of Education policies here in Beacon. We are committed to providing high quality, inclusive, and compliant educational programming. So looking at these 5 areas, looking at inclusive and equitable access. So students participate to the maximum extent appropriate along with their peers, and the law requires that we provide the full continuum of services, which I just reviewed, and I will review again later. All services are student-centered, meaning that each student's plan is individualized to their needs. We provide timely evaluations. We are required to implement the multi-tiered support services, response to intervention, and pre-referral supports so that we are sure that a student is not making progress and needs specially designed instruction. And then a smooth transition when a student no longer needs those services and is moving through the declassification process. So we have a very tight process where the student continues to receive their testing accommodations. And if they're declassified, let's say in 3rd grade, we communicate that to their teachers every year that they're with us. So when they're in ninth grade, if they were declassified in third grade, we would communicate that straight through until they graduate. Compliance and protection, we have a lot of safeguards built into our system. We also use different softwares to protect this data. We comply and have compliance audits for ensuring that we follow the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, the Family Education Rights Protection Act, I think is what it is, and the Americans with Disabilities Act. We ensure that we complete IEPs and that all the teachers have access to them before the first day of school so they can review them as needed. We are committed to providing quality programs and recruiting hired professionals with the appropriate certificates. We have ongoing trainings for the CSE and CPSC members. Our biggest trainings are in January because that is when we're getting ready for our annual reviews. So all those documents are getting ready to be reviewed, so we meet with all of the providers. All of the test materials are accessible, so if a student needs Braille, we have a system for ensuring that we have Braille here for all of the materials that are needed. And then our commitment as a district is to provide every student with disabilities meaningful opportunities to learn, participate, and succeed through individualized supports. So here's our staffing to ensure that we're in compliance with all these areas. We're very grateful for the support of the board to add an additional part-time speech-language pathologist. So we currently have 7 on staff for the 26-27 school year. We have 8.5 social workers, again, very supportive in that, thank you. School psychologists, we have 7, occupational therapists, we have 4 and a part-time person. And again, like I stated this year, physical therapy, we have moved to 2. Any additional services where a student might need something very specific, we work with our local BOCES to ensure that we have those services. Currently at the elementary level, we have 29 elementary teachers in the area of special education and approximately 30 at secondary. For administration, we have 2 assistant directors to support the process and ensure that all of our meetings are compliant. So here's a brief description of what the continuum looks like. Consultant teacher services, I would say, is on the least restrictive side of the continuum. It is delivered by a certified special education teacher, and the students are in the general education classroom, and a special education teacher checks with the student or checks with the teacher. It's just very, I'm going to say, light level service. Integrated co-teaching, you've probably heard the most. That's where we have students with disabilities learning alongside their general education peers in the same classroom. And the New York State Education Department requires that we never exceed more than 12 students in that learning environment unless we ask for a variance. We have to get state approval for that. And then resource room is no more than 5 students, very targeted. It's led by a special education teacher. And if they only received resource room, it would be a minimum of 3 hours a week. If you happen to do any digging on this, our regulations are a little bit different than New York City. So just be mindful of that. As far as the special class continuum goes, these are where a student is receiving their learning with the special education teacher as their primary teacher. So an example would be a 15-1 class. It would be 15 students with the certified special education teacher, and you can see the variety. So all the way on the right is a 6-1-2, no more than 6 students, 1 teacher, and 2 teaching assistants. These are offered in variety of buildings across the district based on student need. And then just for reference for you, this is a continuum as required by the New York State Education Department. There's a lot of examples in here, but I've linked it there if you want more information on what the full continuum looks like. So as far as programming, this is our preschool programming. We're unique here in the Beacon City School District in that we do offer an integrated class. We're the only school district in the county that offers an integrated class, which is the 4th line down. We have 6 students this year, so we're at capacity for that class. It is an integrated class, so 6 students with IEPs and 6 without are taught by a special education teacher who has dual certification. Those receiving resource room only, or related service only, so speech, OT, PT, 25 students. Special education itinerant services only, which in school age is a special education teacher. In preschool, it's called See It Services, just a different name for the same service. special education services with related services. So a special education teacher working with the kiddo and also speech. We have 8 children that receive that. Then we have the 6 that are in our current program, and then 19 children are receiving a highly specialized program with related services. For reference, we have about 20 children who we are seeking services for currently that have been identified as needing services and are not receiving the services yet. And that's something we are constantly in the struggle with, is finding that. 2 of those children are needing a program, and we've not been able to find a program yet. And of note, if the student needs physical therapy, they currently need to go to Highland to get the physical therapy.
That's just for the preschool?
Preschool, that's preschool. Yeah. So I'm not going to go through all of these numbers, but this is what it looks like for our school age population. And that's just a snapshot in time. So we captured this data about 3 weeks ago. It changes pretty regularly based on, fluidity of student needs. But just across the top, you can see related services only, where they're not getting special education services beyond OT, PT, speech, counseling. 73 at the elementary, 4 in the middle school, and 2 in the high school. Which you would expect because you start on the continuum that's least restrictive. And as the children need more support, we see more and more services added or lessened. But that's why you see the elementary number higher than a middle or a high school student. Okay, students with disabilities, again, this is just a snapshot in time. There are 13 classifications, so from autism down to learning disability. Those are the designations for the children. So for example, we have 39 children identified with autism. The middle school we have 18, and the high school we have 18. In preschool, it's just one designation, preschoolers with disabilities. So we have 68, and I will tell you that number is constantly in fluctuation. It's constantly moving because of the students that are entering in, aging out, moving, going to kindergarten. That's a very fluid number. So as far as guidelines go for parentally placed students, so we have 2 parental placements inside our district. We have Hudson Hills and New Covenant, both of which, if the students attend there, we provide support to those locations. So for example, if an Arlington student is attending Hudson Hills Montessori School, we are responsible for providing the support at that location, and we bill back Arlington for those services. So for us in Beacon, if we have a student who's at Lourdes, Arlington might bill us back for the services provided at Lourdes. So these are legal guidelines. It's governed by IDEA and the New York State Education Law. They're called Individual Education Services Plans. Instead of IEPs, it's IESPs. And for us, it's the district of location, not the district of residence. So again, the student could live in Newburgh, but be coming to Hudson Hills, and we provide support, and we would bill back Newburgh. The general education programming remains the responsibility of the parental placement. And for us, the key definitions are district of residence, where the kiddo lives, and the district of location, where the school is located. So as we evaluate our programs, which again is a requirement and very important for us to do, we get a lot of parental feedback and input. We have thousands of meetings a year, and we are over 90% parental involvement. So we have a parent or family member, and I've said before, the virtual platform has really helped in this space. So we can have grandma coming in from Florida, and we can have dad coming in from Michigan, and mom coming in from Beacon, or wherever they are. So the Pupil Services Department is committed to delivering high-quality support, effective instruction, and responsible resource management to ensure student success. So we use our data tracking systems to ensure that students are making progress. We monitor their progress goals on their progress. We look at at their meetings, we look at data. We have their families, teachers, any student or stakeholder involved in the meeting, including the student. We do student interviews for all of our students to get their feedback. We look at their transition and career. This past year, we had an audit where the State Education Department called students that had exited here 2 years later to see if they actually were doing what we said that we thought that they were going to do. So if they were employed or in the military, they were interviewed to see if that was actually where they were. And this year, we are on a state performance plan for parent involvement. It looks like this. It's every parent in our district for a student who has an IEP will get a survey, and we keep track of all those surveys, and we have to have a certain number of individuals respond to the survey, and then we get that feedback, and then we make a plan from there. So it is, we work with SUNY Potsdam to ensure that we send out a survey to every family member, and we provide multiple platforms to get feedback. So it's not just a paper comes in your mail and you mail it back, multiple ways to get that feedback.
Are we on the plan?
Just in
Just a
rotation.
random,
Yep,
uh-huh.
just in rotation.
And the
every 7
audit as
years.
well as a random?
It's random. Every 7 years, we're on a different indicator. Today, this year's this one. We've already gone through training all this past year. Yeah. So as far as goals for the department, we're looking at inclusive learning environments, literacy for all learners, and positive behavior supports. So as far as inclusive learning environments, our goal is to increase opportunities for students to learn alongside their peers. So we're looking at expanding inclusive instructional practices, and you have been very supportive in our contracts with GNR Inclusive. We're expanding now to all of our elementary schools for that service. We are looking to identify spaces for additional inclusive opportunities. This past year, we ran an inclusive committee at Rombout Middle School after school. We included students, we included various stakeholders to really identify areas. For example, pep rallies and how to make them more inclusive, the lunchroom, how to make those locations, and clubs, how to make them more inclusive and accessible. Promote student belonging and engagement, and increase access to learning in a least restrictive environment, and really looking at the elementary level about student engagement in morning meetings, in specials, in field trips, what that looks like for all of our learners. So success would look like more students learning in the general education setting and having a stronger feeling of belonging. As far as literacy for all students, we are implementing the science of reading, aligned practices. We are expanding targeted literacy interventions, including Orton Gillingham, Spire, Wilson, Sunday. There's a lot of different programs, so we are strengthening that as well. Strengthening progress reviewing and data reviewing. We had a workshop this past year that every special education teacher and every related service provider did in this room with us, looking at progress monitoring and what data they were taking on student goals, and writing stronger goals for students, and building staff capacity through ongoing training. And success would look like increased reading growth and improved literacy achievement. And the last we have is positive behavioral supports. So expanding proactive behavioral supports. Again, we are now this year in a relationship with All Points Behavioral Supports, and we are in cooperation with the Arlington Central School District through Duchess Bosse's for that support. We've met with them multiple times. We're really excited about this year. Providing classroom management, professional learning. I've been working closely with Duchess Bosse's to provide more opportunities through their catalogs for general education teachers to attend, supports at the Tier 1 level to ensure that they provide positive learning environments for students. Strengthening school-based mental health supports. You were very supportive of Esther at Rombout this past year. We now are expanding it to Beacon High School, and she is here this summer, so our students have not had interrupted counseling at all, which has been an incredible gift, I think, for our community, because generally those services end in the summer, and we pick them back up in the fall, but that has continued, so that means also psychiatric services for our students, and focus on prevention and early intervention.
Can I ask a quick question about
Yes.
that? Can you remind me what that's going to look like when it goes to the high school level?
Yes.
There's one person now. Is it going to be two? Do they
She's
travel?
split. She's split between the two. Yep, she's going to be split.
Cool.
So aligning this to the portrait of a graduate, I'm not going to read all of this, but the Part 200 regulations support students with disabilities. The New York State Portrait of a Graduate is having us reflect on our practices as we move children forward toward graduation. And we're committed to making them academically prepared, to be a critical thinker, to be a creative innovator, effective communicator, global citizen, and reflective on future focused. All of which we talk about in CSE meetings with students, with families, to give them agency and advocacy. So we're looking forward to a great year. We appreciate your continued support. Here in the bottom right-hand corner is the full special education plan, which is why I'm presenting to you today. And it reviews all of what I just reviewed, as well as more detailed descriptions of all of the acronyms and things that I say, so it's very clear. That is the end. Do you have any questions at all?
Yeah, first I want to thank you for combining a succinct report with links to deeper information and especially explanations for different terms. That's super, super helpful, not just for us, but for the public. I just wanted to ask about the, I know there is a resolution coming up in Dutchess County
Correct.
to increase funding for special education pre-K providers.
Correct.
And I just wanted to get your thoughts on how that could impact the program.
Yes, so there's a resolution to increase the reimbursement rate by $20, so it will more closely reflect Ulster County. There is a forum on August 6th that I will be attending. I've worked really closely with the committees the entire time, trying to give them data, and I'm hopeful that we're headed in a positive direction. I think it's a step in the right direction. It will bring a half-hour session for a student who might get speech services to, I believe it's $80, which is close to what Ulster is as well. But we also have to bring those providers back here. So they're already working with agencies in Ulster and Putnam and all those areas around us. So I'm hopeful that raising that, and I'm very supportive, I'm like very, very supportive. We work really hard to get these services for our kids, will attract providers to our area.
Right.
The other thing that we're doing to try to, and we're still short, is that our providers have entered into contracts with Dutchess County to provide the service through agencies as well. So we have staff members that stay long after school hours or before school hours and working for the county to get our preschoolers the services. Beacon has been very supportive, very innovative thinking, but we still are coming up short. So.
I was going to, during the superintendent report, I was just going to talk about the advocacy letter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm curious to know the department's
Just
thoughts.
quickly, just a quick context thing. The timing of this was good because I'll be sharing some communication goals in a couple minutes, but at the next board meeting, SAGI will be talking about the instructional goals for the district. Anne Marie and John will be talking about goals for the HR and business department for the year. And then in September, we kind of pull it all together into like a easy to digest format for our goals for the year. And just I also wanted to mention with what Heather was saying, we did a pretty massive staff survey this spring. And staff, teachers and support staff really talked about wanting more help with behavioral challenges. Both in the classroom, whether it's professional development or staff support, teachers and staff talked about just also wanting more help and like earlier help with students who are academically struggling, especially at the lower grades. So, and again, those requests are sort of grounded in professional development, but also staff support. So I'm going to be talking about this survey a lot, like over the next couple of months. And a lot of what Heather had planned out are ways to support, some of those things. But it's something that it's like an area of continued feedback and then us trying to find ways to strengthen how we're working with teachers and staff too.
To be clear, it's paid for by the county and state. It doesn't affect our budget.
The pre-K thing?
The increase
The $20.
That's a
Oh,
county and
that's
state
right.
thing. Yeah,
just it does not affect our budget.
yeah.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Matt, moving on to communication goals for the year.
Thank you. Yep. All right. Good evening. This is kind of a quick overview tonight, and this will be something that we'll be providing updates on throughout the year. It's not really a comprehensive plan, but these are some of the foundational things of the plan, some new things we're trying, and some things we're trying to strengthen going into next year. One thing is, I'm just to just dive right in. One of the pieces of feedback we get a lot is our lack of the use of an app. So we looked at a bunch. There's a lot of different companies out there. One of the things we were really looking for is a messaging service or an app that works well with our student information system. Our student information system is PowerSchool. So School Messenger is actually part of the PowerSchool family, so to speak, and so they talk well to each other, and that just makes things a little bit easier. So our goal at the start is that all of our administrators immediately start using it. Parents will be able to format their app for what messages they want to receive on the app. Like if you're a roundabout parent and you're also interested in updates from the athletic department and the superintendent, you'll click on those things and get those updates. If you want all of them, you just subscribe to all of them. We're going to be offering some training for teachers who want to pilot this. A lot of districts use an app called Parent Square. It aligns with their website. We use a different website company. Parent Square wouldn't work for us. So right now we know, especially elementary teachers use various apps with that they've just kind of done themselves with. We're not going to be able to completely take that over just in like the first couple of weeks of school, but we are going to find teachers at each level that are going to pilot this, and we're just going to try to grow that out as the year goes. The one thing with the app that we would love to get to at some point is parents can use the PowerSchool app to check their students' grades. And at some point, PowerSchool is working on an app that combines those things. It both has a communication aspect to it, and you can check grades all with one app. That they're trying to sell it now. We don't feel it's ready. It's called PowerHub, so that may be a year or two down the road. But anyway, we're trying to streamline communication, have another way for parents and kids, honestly, to access our different communications, so we're not always searching for an email or trying to look at the website. So that's something new that will be starting in the next few weeks. We're really emphasizing feedback this year. I talked about the teacher staff survey that we did in the spring. It's really fueling a lot of what we're trying to do for this school year. We want to encompass all of our families and students in that feedback umbrella. So we've been working with a company called Thought Exchange. They're a survey company. They also use an app, a pretty interactive app, but right now we're focused on the survey part of what they offer. They have kind of, stock surveys. The staff one we came up with, we worked with teachers to design a more tailored one to our needs. We'll do the same with our family survey and our student survey. We'll take some of their questions, but we'll also create some of our own. So October is when we're going to do the family and other stakeholder survey, and then kind of November through February, just because not exactly sure how we're going to time it all. We are going to start with high school, but we're going to be surveying students grades 4 through 12. Our principals felt that those were the key grades to cover. I think one nice aspect of this, in various other years, I've just done a Google form survey that I developed myself, and then I kind of did the data analysis myself. So this has a tool. The company provides data analysis. We will look at all of the information that comes from the survey ourselves and offer our own interpretation. But we got great interpretations from the company as well. And so we'll be talking about what we get from these surveys throughout the school year. The first results will be from the family one, and that will be November, December, that we'll be sharing that with the board and the public. And then also just more opportunities for in-person feedback. Anne-Marie and I did a lot of budget forums in the spring. We decided to just do many and just kind of have them be drop-in. And attendance wasn't incredibly high, but people definitely dropped in because they had specific concerns or questions or whatever. So we're just going to kind of continue that throughout the year. We're going to, not just do them at the high school this time and do them in some different locations. I've been sort of feeling, just in conversations I've had with different parents, that we want to just kind of explain some of the foundational parts of our budget and the budget process. I think this will tailor nicely when we get those survey results, because we'll be able to kind of meld the two and how this influences our budget decision making. So we'll be doing that throughout the year, not just in the spring. Our district administrators, Heather was one who visited all school PTO meetings last year. We'll continue that. Some version of our team will be attending all of those, if not all of us. And we're also going to be utilizing Zoom webinars again too. So my style is always, I like to do some in-person events, but then we also like to do a Zoom webinar. People can type questions in. We try to answer those, but the beauty of it is it's also recorded. When we always do a budget Zoom webinar. This particular one, I think because it was shorter, I hate to say, but it was I think under 30 minutes, had a lot more views than normal. We really pushed it out there. A lot of people told me, oh, I got most of my info from that. I watched that YouTube thing and I'm good. I just have like this one question. So with like the 9-period day coming up for Roundabout, they're going to do a Zoom webinar in a couple of weeks. But the key is, the key part of it is recording it and then pushing that link out both on our website and then on the app and through communication so people can access that information and always follow up with us. The other part of the in-person feedback is not on the slide. Is along with the student surveys. We'll be doing student focus groups. We usually start those in about 4th grade as well and try to do them in every grade throughout. We do those a couple times a year, and I'll be doing those with my team this year too. The Bulldog Bulletin is going to have a new look. Right now it's a PDF that we just sort of put up on the website. We're going to create an online version that's more interactive. It will go out less often, but I think it will be a little bit more comprehensive, and it'll be something that, like I said, will be a little bit more interactive online. Internal communication from the survey I referenced to staff. There was a strong desire for more input on different things, so we're going to keep surveying our staff every year, but also create some focus groups with them. We already have some systems in place for these conversations. We're going to try to strengthen those, like advisory group type things that our staff can be a part of. We're going to better organize our internal communications with a website just for staff to access for HR forms or business office forms or other information. And then also just one of the things that was clear is a desire for more visibility in schools from both me and other central office staff. So we're going to work on being in place more for a lot of those just kind of informal conversations and interactions too. So that's just a really quick overview. At the next board meeting, I'm going to give a quick update on our website in terms of both the contracts we want the board to consider for the person who's going to be keeping our website up to date, and 2 other communications like the Bulldog Bulletin. For that, I'm going to try to provide some comparisons with other districts in terms of what they do and how much they spend. And like I said, we're going to start with it's a huge survey because it goes out to several thousand people, but the community survey, we're going to be launching early to October, and we're really excited about that. So some of the things we're continuing, trying to strengthen, some are new, like the app, the Thought Exchange surveys is kind of a new thing for us too, but we're excited to keep trying to up our communication game as we go this year. And I was trying to kind of go quick. This is something that we'll be talking, I'll be updating and talking about all throughout the year.
That was good. It hit the highlights. Are there
Yeah.
any questions?
The rollout of that app, are teachers expected to or is everyone going to be on it by end of the year or a specific time, or is
Instead
it?
of using different apps.
Yeah, just
Well,
curious.
I'm not sure about that part.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of the things we have found when we spent the year doing this is that a lot of there's apps that are very much tailored to teachers that
Yeah.
offer things that a district-wide app
Yeah.
doesn't.
Fair.
And so there will be some teachers that are like, but I've been using this one for 4 years and it does X, Y, and Z. So we're going to try to kind of work through that, but I do not have a timeline for that.
Okay, that's
Understood.
I mean, we also have this kind of this other app out there, this Power Hub app that's not quite ready for prime time yet, but it would be, you could check the grades and the communications all in one. So we're also trying to figure out, are we going to be moving to that in a year or two? So right now, our main emphasis is every administrator gets on this, and we get a group of teachers piloting it at every level. Despite the heavy app users in the teacher world, there's also teachers not using anything. So that's the group I want to try to get. Like, here's a really quick way to send out reminders to your parents, like a test is coming up or the field trip's on Friday, like because this school messenger speaks really well with our student information system. So teachers groups will all be set up for them before the year even starts, and so it'll be pretty easy to use. So we want to try to tackle those. But I don't know the names of all the apps that some of our elementary teachers love, but some of those are hard to compete with. But we're going to try to work through that.
So, quick question. You mentioned the survey from spring of 2026. Were there any thematic areas that will carry over into the themes or topical areas for student surveys thereafter? Or what were some great things that kind of surfaced that will be a continuation of?
From the staff survey?
From the staff survey that you think is comparable or important to bring over into the student survey part in November to February?
Yeah. Well, first I'll say from the staff survey, we got a lot of great feedback. One area was professional development. There were three main areas there. One was help with technology. And, we're sort of beyond the how do I use my interactive screen, and it's more like both that and how do I deal with AI and everything in between. I mentioned already also just like how do I be a better teacher at helping with struggling behavior and or academics, like a student that's really kind of more of an outlier. And then also just help with implementing all of the new curriculum that we have. Those are the three main areas there. Another one was like more input into sort of decision making and stuff. And then, a lot of the results were positive too. I'm just sort of focusing on like the growth area ones. So in terms of like the student survey part, Corey Dwyer, our high school principal, started working on some of the questions. So we're going to just kind of do like some basic Likert scale type questions about student belongingness, connection with teachers, what they think about classwork. But then we're going to add some very specific open-ended questions about like areas that at like the middle school and the high school that we think are areas that we could improve or we really want to hear some student feedback on. So with the roundabout doing the new 9th grade day, I think we want to be asking students how do you think it's going? At the high school with this, we're going to be talking about New York Inspires a little bit later, probably September. We'll start probably at the next board meeting. But we want to be asking students like, what kind of classes are you interested that we're not offering right now? I know that's one of the areas Corey is really interested in. It's like we don't want to spend a lot of time creating a course and before students sign up. I mean, I know you deal with that at your level 2, and so we want to be asking students about courses they're interested in, ways we can support their emotional and mental health more. That really comes up a lot. One of our student board members last year, at the end of the year, talked about when we do the student survey to really ask some mental health type questions too, like are there things that we're currently not doing that we could or should be? On the parent family side, a lot of the questions are going to be sort of like I'm just using sort of regular talk, but how are we doing in these various areas? But then also like what do you want to see us doing in these areas? Like what are some areas of strength for us? Like that's what the community want. What are some areas of growth? We'll focus on that for the community one. But the staff survey we did, I think maybe because we developed it with teacher input, but we had a higher sort of answer rate than we have ever had in the past. I know with like a community survey, we run the risk a little bit of people with more time on their hands, people who are kind of more connected in one way or the other are more apt to fill it out. So, we'll try to figure out some ways to really generate like a wide range of participation. And the student one is great because we can kind of make them all. Or we can carve out the time in a class where they can all fit that. So I'm meeting with the thought exchange person next week, and I can also update the board that's just like, here's some areas of some of their like the surveys they use as like template surveys, but yeah, we'll be focused on what student interests are on the student level, areas we can support students more, especially regarding mental health. We always ask about extracurriculars, like what should we keep doing, what do we need to start doing, and then we always kind of have some just plain open-ended to see what's there, like in terms of what's on kids' minds, what's on parents' minds. We actually get quite a bit of interesting stuff with like, on this, on the staff survey at the end, we did the what didn't we ask about that you want to share, and that always gets a lot of interesting responses too. So yeah, sorry, I kind of rambled a little bit there, but
All great stuff. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, well, that's great. A lot of good stuff happening. Okay. I just want to note there are no changes to the agenda, so do you want to roll right into your superintendent's report?
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to pull something up. First, I just want to give a quick verbal update on the capital project work happening this summer. The new boiler at Glenham and the new boiler at the high school are all on track, and the work is happening. I always worry about jinxing these things, but the work is really, really on track for those. You may have noticed that the field work has started, so they've started doing the site work on the softball field, and then they'll move to the baseball field. But that is all on track. Our goal for that is those are done by the start of those seasons next spring. We'll be starting in the next couple of days the PA and fire alarm work in all 6 of our buildings. I shared with you all in the community that work will continue into the school year on night shift, and we'll be using our current systems while they're working on replacing them. Those are the main things happening right now. And the pool, which is not capital, or at least this part isn't capital, but the pool repairs that we had to do are complete. We are now waiting to finalize the health department's review of the work. So that involves having an engineer come in just to assess the work. But we feel that work was done well. Our hope is that this will get resolved and be behind us, and we'll be using the pool again soon. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks is the goal. Sometimes the health department approval process takes a little bit of time, but they have come out to do their assessment, and we're doing an engineering assessment of it too. But we think the work was done well, and we're excited to get going, both for our community swim folks, but also the fall sports starts in a few weeks, and it's our girls swim team that starts in the fall. So anyway, that's all happening in terms of the capital project, and I'm pleased to say everything is on track right now. We started talking about it, so I don't need to say a lot more, but I do want to emphasize a couple of things with the pre-K issue. I'm not good at bragging, Heather wasn't bragging either, but Beacon is a leader in the pre-K world. She did mention, I think it's worth repeating, we're the only district that has what's called a SKIS class, an integrated setting class for students with special needs. Having that in district, so we work with the county and the county funds that, but we have that in district. It's an enormous benefit to our students and our schools themselves. It's housed at Sargent right now. Our principal loves having it there. The school community loves having that class at Sargent. I think our principals want more of the SKIS classes. They want to expand the program. It is an enormous amount of paperwork, and I just want to give a shout out to the PPS department because it is not just raising our hand and saying we'd like to do it. It is a huge process. But I'm sharing that because this is just a vitally important area that I think has had some neglect. And we've been leading the way in trying to change this dynamic. And I'll also just say as a parent, I wasn't in Dutchess County, but I lived in Tompkins County, and my family benefited from early intervention services quite a bit from the age of 2 to 5. And it just provides a life raft for families that are struggling with a really young child who is struggling. And this has been something I'm starting my 10th year here. This has been something I've struggled to understand the entire time I've lived in Dutchess, is why we have a lower rate of pay for these service providers than everyone around us. Folks like Heather and people at the superintendent level have been advocating for this for years. It's finally coming up. And so, we can answer more questions about it, but I got all this stuff yesterday, so I wasn't able to get it to you till today. But I would love a couple of things. I think it would be great if I always think it's powerful if elected officials send a letter. So I know there's just 5 of you here tonight, but I'd love the board to consider sending this letter of support. I asked today, the letter of support would go to County Executive Serino and the majority leader of Valdez Smith. And then I would obviously send one myself, as Heather probably will. But I have a superintendent update going out tomorrow, or I sometimes overpromise tomorrow or Saturday. And I'd like to include the information to the community, because I know this is something that a lot of community members have struggled with. And I think the one thing that I also want to say is we're kind of the intermediary. We're the ones that do the IEP process. Like, we manage that part of it, but we don't manage like how much these folks are getting paid. And so it's been hard for us to deal with some of the staffing struggles, or dealing with fulfilling IEPs when this disparity in payment has been going on for decades. And I'm pretty certain the county that I was in when my son was younger, and we benefit from all of this, that county, I think, is considered a leader in this early intervention in the state, and they, amongst many of our neighbors, were paying a much more competitive rate. So there was no waiting to see if someone was available to provide these services for a young child in need. So I don't know, I won't make it personal in the email, and I'm not trying to make it overly personal, but this is one that's been bugging me for a really long time. And so when I saw this come up, I just was elated. Is that too strong of a word? Because I honestly got to the point where I never thought this was going to happen. I just was starting to kind of give up, because we've been bringing this up at the superintendent level since I've been here.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
A little bit about the mechanics of it. So I know that the makeup of the Dutchess County Legislature has changed, and I mean, if they're passing a resolution doesn't that mean there's a very, very, very good chance that this is happening? Or like, I honestly.
I'll be honest, I don't know I don't know entirely how the county legislature
process
works, but I also think the county executive needs to agree
Got it.
to it.
Got it.
So, and I'm not saying she doesn't, I always try to kind of stay out of like the political side. I'm just happy it's come up now. And so I think if they receive positive letters of support for this, it would just ensure that folks vote the appropriate way.
Especially, right, okay, and
In my
especially the county
humble
executive.
opinion.
Yeah,
And this isn't a tax burden for Beacon.
Yeah.
Right.
that's-
So I think the folks proposing this feel that Dutchess County can pay more from their budget. Now,
right,
I don't know a lot about their budget, but the people putting this forward feel like that they can, within their budget, take this
make
over.
this happen, okay.
So this is one of those rare ones that it's not a thing from our budget. It's not a Beacon thing, but I think that's been part of our struggle, because if this was us, we would have addressed this,
Ages ago, right.
9 years ago. And, because I'm sorry, I'm going to stop ranting, but the frustration that like the PPS folks feel in trying to figure out who's delivering what services, and when the agencies can't find anybody because this reimbursement rate is so much lower than all of our surrounding neighbors, not just Westchester, because sometimes that one is a hard comparison, but Ulster,
Yeah.
like right across the river. And usually Ulster, we don't have such a huge discrepancy with. It's a major issue. And I didn't know this was coming, so.
Great. So
Yeah.
in the interest of efficiency, do you guys want, like, I can draft something based on your letter, Matt, and then we can just sign it as a board?
I'm all for it, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've talked, Dutchess County School Boards Association has been lobbying for this every year.
For
as
years.
long as I can
For
remember too,
years.
so, yeah.
And you'll send it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll make sure everybody agrees on the letter, but yeah, and I think it would be in our interest to send a unified message as quickly as possible.
No, the one thing I'm uncertain, I'm not certain every problem's going to go away immediately, because there's a bunch of staffing patterns that have been ingrained now for quite a long time. So I'm not certain it's just going to change overnight, but I think it will really make a dent in the issue. Is the board comfortable with me? I don't normally ask about your approval of what goes in an update of mine, but like me putting some sort of like, send this email if this is an issue that
100%.
resonates with you.
Yeah.
And again, I don't get super into like the politics side of it. To me, this is nonpartisan. It's just like, this is an area of needed change in the county. I kind of almost, summers can be quieter, and when I got the text and the email, I almost fell out of my chair.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I was just shocked, so, because I think this is outside of their normal budget process, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if is their budget January to January, or is it like a
I don't know if it falls in the same,
Yeah.
on the year, or if it's like the same as the state, I don't know.
So this is just wonderful news, or the chance of this happening is wonderful news. So I'm going to stop ranting and raving about it, but like this is really exciting, and I don't want to undersell it at all. So we have a couple other updates going out. I'm going to just say information for an advocacy opportunity. I know this will resonate with many of our parents, when they see this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And our staff probably too. So what I was told, I normally like to put like where to send something. So what I was told is the email should go to Sue Serino and Yvette Valdez Smith, like both of them. So,
Yep. That makes sense.
all right, that's all I have.
Okay, that's great. I'm very excited about that too. So moving on to board comments and committee reports, we will start with you, Catherine.
Hello. Thank you very much. That was a great presentation. Appreciated it. And I don't have any other comments.
That's all right. Semra?
Yeah, thanks for all you do. I have children of my own who have used these services, very much appreciated. The only thing I wanted to ask is if we're thinking about a committee meeting for finance?
So,
Audit, I'm sorry, yes.
well, that's okay. We have our external audit next week, and we're doing the risk assessment with our internal
Okay.
auditors. So we actually might have
A
a
joint?
meeting to talk a lot about audit and finance.
Okay.
So.
When
I
when
think
would
the
that?
End of August,
What's that?
End of
the
August.
end of August,
Okay.
the beginning of September, the latest.
I guess.
Okay.
All right.
Once I get an idea from them, I can.
Gotcha.
Semra, are there evenings in general that are better for you? I like to start with the chair.
I mean, Mondays are good.
What, Mondays?
Yeah,
Okay.
like a 6 or, yeah.
Mondays are usually good for us because I normally
Yeah.
just sort of block them out.
Yeah.
So we have a board meeting on the 24th. We might want to just pencil in the 31st. Just,
If it works for,
yeah. And we
Works
could
for me.
alert our
It would
community
be-
members who are on the committee too.
Yes, it'll be internal audit only on the 31st, because we have that time frame where external audit has to come right before.
I think we should do this internal one. Just, yeah, get that in.
Okay.
Because then the external one isn't usually until a little bit later.
September, yes.
Yeah.
okay. Thanks.
So we're just gonna say, who else is on audit? I don't have it all memorized yet.
Oh, wait, I have it in here. Hold
Okay.
on.
So we'll send a thing out just saying if the 31st works.
Eric and Chris, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
All righty. Meredith?
I just wanted to say I was excited to see the curriculum writing for what I assume is to fill out the 9-period day at Rombout. It looked like some really interesting classes. And also, I was excited to see marching band on the agenda. And also condolences to Landisi family. Jerry Landisi gave a lot to the community. He was an incredibly community-oriented person, and he will be missed.
He was a Dutchess County legislator, or I think he
Trying
was.
to remember that.
I think he was.
I think so.
Yeah. Along with everything else.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Jermaine?
So I just want to say, this is a great and wonderful opportunity. This is my second meeting other than the meeting that I was sworn in. The information that you all provided was very insightful and helpful, and I got a chance to review it prior to and hear the presentations and get to ask great questions, which were answered well and just very impactful. So thank you for the information that you provided, and looking forward to sitting on the board and having more meaningful dialogue and interactions with everyone.
Great. Thanks. We're so glad to have you. Yeah, so thank you for the presentation. It's a good level set for the year. I'm so excited about this possibility of a rate increase, and while it's not a silver bullet, it is an incredible start. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited about the communication work we're doing this year. My computer's about to die, so this is going to be fun. But I did want to note for everybody that we do plan on discussing our board goals at the next meeting. And the idea being that the goals that we've really been focused on all of these years are really district goals. And now that we've gotten into this rhythm of sort of talking about district goals for the year and Matt's goals for the year, we thought it would be a good idea to really set some goals for the board for the year. Nothing crazy or super complicated, but just as a way for us to make sure that we're working well together, serving the district and all of that good stuff. And it will sort of work in concert with the board self-evaluations that we do. So in preparation for this, I'm going to send everybody some examples from other districts, just to give you an idea of the way other districts think about this and how they format it. I'm also going to send the rubric from Super Eval. That's the platform that we use to do Matt's evaluation and our self-evaluation, just so you can see what the content areas of that are and start sort of thinking about like, what do we want to work on? What do we want to work toward for the year? And it'll also introduce you to that rubric so that when we do the self-evaluation, which we will be doing very soon, you'll sort of already have an understanding of what you're looking at and what you're talking about. So I'll send that out very soon. And that's it. My computer's still here, so that's great. Moving on to the consent agenda. The use of the consent agenda permits the Board of Education to make more effective use of its time by adopting a single motion to cover those relatively routine matters which are included. Any member of the board who wishes to discuss individually a particular piece of business on the consent agenda may so indicate, and that item will be considered and voted on separately, thus preserving the right of all board members to be heard on any issue. Are there any items that any board member would like to have removed from the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none. Can I have a motion to approve 10.01 through 14.05?
So moved.
Meredith, second?
Second?
Catherine, comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. Can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session? The board does not plan on returning.
So moved.
Emma, second by Jermaine. All comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Good night.